Salute YouTube world, what's happening? This is Nocturnal. Um, just had to hit y'all with a quick little two-piece talk about Claressa Shields real quick, calling out Jake Paul and what I think about that whole situation. Claressa Shields said it'll never get sanctioned because boxing is feminist, sexist. It's sexist. It's like anti-women. They don't want to pay women correctly. They don't want to give women they just do. And she's been fighting real heavy to create some kind of equality in the sport of women and female boxing. I seen some videos where she actually was kind of crossing over and training for MMA, and of course, for a long time, it was like brewing a beef between her and Amanda Nunez. You know what I'm saying? But recently, I see where Claressa Shields has been torching Jake Paul since Jake Paul, you know, devastational and devastating fashion, you know, knocked out Nate Robinson. And Claressa Shields, she had some things to say about that, as far as Nate Robinson being unexperienced. They shouldn't have been fighting without headgear, being that that was Nate Robinson's first time fighting in a boxing ring versus Jake Paul had been training maybe a year or so, had some good sparring and fighting with professional fighters and sparring and training and things like that. So she said, she didn't agree with Nate Robinson not having on headgear. And she's like, if you want to fight a real fighter, come holler at her, Claressa Shields. This is what reminds me. First of all, I got to say, ultimate respect and salute to Claressa Shields. And I agree with her on so many levels. When I think of Claressa Shields, first of all, one of the first videos I did about Claressa Shields is when she was about to fight Christina Hammer. And it's funny to me, it's one thing that I hate about YouTube is on that video, I had to lean towards Christina Hammer because of the experience. She had advantages that I thought she would be able to take advantage of, being taller, being the seasoned veteran, and being able to stay outside and box, similar to a Muhammad Ali versus a Joe Frazier. And when I did that video, I was very clear to say, something tells me that, Christina Hammer might be able to outbox Claressa Shields, but I hope I'm wrong in my prediction because, I really, really like Claressa Shields and what she brings to boxing. You know what I'm saying? I had watched T-Rex on Netflix a couple of years ago, or when it first came out, however long that's been. It's been some years now. But I remember from that point on, I was a fan of Claressa Shields. But when she made her splash in the professional debut, I just really wasn't all in all impressed. But over the years, she has become more and more and more impressive to me, from not only the way she fights and carries herself in the ring, but the way she carries herself outside of the ring and the way she analyzes fights. It makes me think of the quote, I don't know if y'all know Cassidy, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler. When Cassidy came out, he was doing his freestyle battles. He kind of took a shot a little bit at hip hop, but at young M.A. He was like, none of these rappers right now are true to hip hop. The only person that's really spitting fire and hitting hard is young M.A. The only problem is she hits like a girl. And it made the hip hop world kind of stop and pay attention, like all these, flamboyant rappers and everything. The only person that's spitting hardcore bars is young M.A. It just so happens that she's a female. Salutes out to young M.A. to this day. She's still spitting some fire bars, period. But it makes me think of the same thing with Claressa Shields. We talking about all these boxers, all these dude boxers, you know, like Terrence Bud Crawford and Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia and Mr. Gary Russell Jr. and even Deontay Wilder and just on and on and on. Sean Porter, you know, some prima donnas, Keith Thurman. You get these prima donna mentalities, and the only person I see keeping it 100% a buck, keeping it 1K all day, is Claressa Shields, man. Claressa Shields, on every interview, post-fight and pre-fight, when she gives her opinion, she's just so straightforward and balanced with the way she analyzes fights, and she keeps it very, very genuine. One thing she said when it comes to fighting Jake Paul, I absolutely have to salute. She said, let's fight and then donate the proceeds to the Flint, Michigan Water Foundation to help fix that crisis. That's still going on. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of this pandemic, there's still people in Flint, Michigan that's not drinking water that's healthy for their bodies. She's still fighting for that. She's still putting the blue in her hair. She said, we'll fight, and it ain't even about the money. We'll take all the money and give it to a foundation for Flint, Michigan. That's a proper salute. I have to give that. Second of all, before I get out the way, I gotta say that, to be honest with you, I would much rather see Claressa Shields fight Jake Paul than see Claressa Shields go into the MMA world. You know what I'm saying? It's two different sports, and I feel like boxers are born and UFC MMA fighters are born. Total different athletes, total different species. But when it comes to Jake Paul fighting Claressa Shields, honestly, I think she wins that fight with just an educated jab, period, point blank. She's always been fighting strong guys. I've seen her doing sparring with like Errol Spence and, you know what I'm saying, Andre Ward and things like that. She fights in a real fight and they train for it. In that fight, Jake Paul should be wearing the headgear, because Claressa Shields, I think she'll take his head clean off. That's my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. It's Nocturnal Thoughts, hitting you with a 2-piece, and I'm gone. Peace, salute, subscribe. I'm out.